Y'all ready to get back into the poetry? Alright, hey. See, y'all slip back into like Catholic church service for a minute. That's not what we're doing here. Y'all ready to get back into the poetry? Alright, that sounds a bit better. This artist coming to the stage. It's real funny for me to see how her career has blossomed because she didn't really do nothing with spoken word, and she was originally from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Well, she was living in Halifax. She had come to Toronto with a group of young people, and I was asked to perform for this group of young people, and at that presentation, the spoken word idea sparked in her head, and she's been doing spoken word ever since. And I don't remember how many of these Sister Speaks she's done. I know it's not her first, but she's back here again. It's been about 7 years or so since her last one. So please put your hands together and welcome Amani to the stage.
So good evening. I am very glad to be up here blessing the mic, and can we just give Dwayne Morgan another round of applause for giving us this amazing platform. So as he said, my name is Amani, which means peace in Swahili, and I hope you enjoy my set. This is probably gonna be the only interaction you're gonna get, but you're gonna hear some words, you're gonna hear some rhythm, and a little bit of music. Because I'm gonna bring you Amani, the words, the rhythm, the music. Amani, the words, the rhythm. She was 14 years old, on her way home from school, doing the things that young girls do, talking, laughing, and acting a fool, talking about the things that they thought were cool, and the next thing you know, she was all alone, talking and texting on a cell phone. She feel safe. Not fair being attacked, assaulted, or raped. I don't know about you, but I'm watching the news and it's breaking my heart, giving me the blues. Young girls being attacked on their way home from school. York University constantly on the news. A young girl attacked while it was being viewed on her webcam by her boyfriend in another country. This violence needs to stop to end, and society has to take a stand. We can't wait till it's our sister, daughter, son, or brother and not pay attention because it's some random young girl or young man. There has to be a plan so that policemen dealing with sex crimes can't make rude remarks, so that drive-bys don't exist in the day and in the dark, so that young girls know that they mean something and their self-esteem is not destroyed by the antics of posting what happened to them on Facebook and being made fun of by the young boys. We need to take a stand because violence is becoming commonplace. And me, as a woman, I've never felt safe. What I've been seeing on the news has been such a disgrace that it's led me to tears sitting at home in my place. And maybe you felt the same way too. But tonight, these words might change your point of view. Look around this place we feel safe. There could be someone here whose dreams were erased. There could be someone here who's about to lose their life. They could be held up with a gun. They could be held up with a knife. Let's make a vow to not be silent when we see someone commit an act of violence. Let's not fear for ourselves, but stand up and face the accused. To eradicate violence, we have got to refuse to let the stories that happen leave the front page. We need to make people aware and let acts of crime not let them fade away. Eradicating violence shouldn't need a special day. It's something we should be talking about each and every day. In this modern day society, we should be continuing to thrive, but there are kids in their neighborhoods just fighting for their life. And just walking through their hoods is a daily battle. And this ain't Compton or New York City, but crime is happening here. In Canada, our homeland, we feel so native and dear. But I will tell you this is sure, as I know there is a good Lord above, that we need to really start teaching each other about brotherly and sisterly love. We need to stop giving cut-eye and attitude and thinking we're too good. We need to talk to the young people who identify with the hood. We need to teach young girls that wearing proper clothes, that sexy is an attitude. It's not dressing like the naked women in the videos. We need to all come together and not let things fall apart. We need to open up our minds and open up our hearts, because if something doesn't change before today, by tomorrow, another life could be faded away. And so, I reach out to you and I say, we need to stop all this madness today. Pick up the paper and flip to the page and picture your face on the front page. Because in a matter of seconds, your life could change. So please don't let these people's stories fade away. Fade, fade, fade away. Why do I write? I write because it's my cure for any personal ailment or pain. I write because sometimes I don't have the power to say what I really want to. I write because it's in my blood and my veins, and if you prick me, then words would bleed onto the floor in a poem somewhat abstract, but bright in the blackest ink. You see, the pen was an instrument given to me by some predetermined elder and mentor that I never met before. I write to scream, I write to cry, I write to laugh, I write to release. I write to save myself from having to pay a therapist. I save an awful lot of money this way. I write to right the wrongs of society. You see, my writing is my emotional release of the day from the constraints of my life. I write because each sound, each syllable, each word, each phrase means that there is one less thing on my mind. I write because I am words and the paper is my meaning. My fingers create a poetic thesaurus in my thoughts, a dictionary. I write because it is my cure for cancer. I write to soothe. I write to dream. I write to laugh. I write to scream. I write because before the beginning of time, it was predetermined by an elder mentor that I never met. There was my destiny to take pen to paper and decipher all of the thoughts that were intertwined inside of my cranium, and this is why I write. It's not a chore or something I think about. It's simply what I do and who I am. I write because I am a writer, and my signature is life. Thank you. This poem is simply entitled 45. I turned 45 the other week. I'm not ashamed of my age, and I have a boyfriend named Jim who helps me with my physique. Don't get excited. Jim isn't a person, he's a gym, G-Y-M. A weightlifting cardio gym. There are men in him, but none that I've met that I'm attracted to, you know, that you make me want to sweat kind of way. Just men that work out in the gym every day. Now, when I turned 40, I was somewhat stressed. I know I'm blessed, shouldn't have felt the stress, but 40 just sounded so old. But then my godmother, with her infinite words of wisdom, told me something that was not a lie. She said, you need to get over this thing about turning 40 and accept it or die. Those were the words that turned my thought process around. And turning 40 was somewhat profound. I began to understand why people say it's the beginning of your life. I focused on being positive and got rid of all people who brought stress on my life, and that included family and friends and acquaintances and just people who seemed like, though they smiled in my face, really their thoughts were full of hate. And I felt lighter, and my days got brighter. I realized I did not have to settle for anything less than I was worth, and I mean, that is what was great about my 40 life rebirth. But now here's the thing. I don't look my age, or at least I don't think I do, and that should be the only opinion that matters to you. You see, I have an old soul and a young spirit that are constantly in battle. So when I think of a life partner, because I'm single, it sometimes makes my head rattle. See, when I was younger, I liked older guys. I just felt I could relate to them, and though I was younger, I was wise. But now that I'm older, I admittedly like younger men. But I am not a cougar. Let me say that again. But I am not a cougar. And I'm sorry if any of the 2 men I dated out of the last 8 years are up in here tonight, and you thought I was maybe like 35 years old. You never asked me directly, so I never told. Recently in a non-relationship with a guy who didn't really care. He was just there, but I hadn't had a kiss in 8 years, so that was cool. But I realized I was worth more than he could give, and I'm glad that I resisted the physical, because really I'm more about the mental, and that's not accidental. I'm 45, yo, and I know what I want out of life, and from God above. Yeah, I said it. God, he's in my life, and I'm proud. I'm not ashamed to be a Christian. I'm real. So here's the deal. Aging has some perks. Like in 15 years, I'll be able to take the TTC for free. Maybe I can even get a free degree. But there are some crazy things that people say to me. See, I've never had a child because I've never been married, haven't met that special someone, you know, that one that will make my feelings grow to where I will put up with all kinds of foolishness. But for now, I'm good. Feels good in my hood. And feels good in my jeans, too. At least it does from my point of view. But because of my age, people start telling me about their friends who had a baby at 50, or the old lady in the Bible named Elizabeth who was almost 100, and I look at them like, I'm good. I haven't met anyone, and if I do, I won't be having a baby at 50 or at 102. But I'm really happy for Elizabeth in the Bible and for all of your older friends who out of the blue met their husbands. It hasn't happened for me, but I still have hope. I'm not negative, and I'm even open to meeting people in unusual ways. I tried Match.com for a few years and a day, but the internet thing wasn't really for me, so I gave it a good old heave-ho, seriously. Now, I still believe that I'll be walking down the street or in a grocery aisle, and I'll see a brother and give him that special smile, and he'll smile back, even when he realizes that I'm black. And we'll go on a date. We'll go on a date, an old-fashioned date, and hold hands and walk rock in the sand. Okay, so it's my imagination. When I imagine this, I'm back home in Trinidad or on some other island, okay? 45, but I'm kicking it live. Yes, I've had knee injuries, but I'm the happiest walker in Canada. And though tonight I'm rocking extensions, I'd like to mention that I do have real hair under here. It's all mine, okay? So I just had to get that out of the way. So if you ask me how I feel about life in my age, I'll tell you that it feels as good as reciting a poem center stage. It feels good like when the sun shines down on my face, or when I can imagine my knees are good and have won the amazing race. Because age really is just a number. It's about how you feel. It's about the friends you have around you and how you keep things real. And I'm proud of all the things that I've done up to this point. And there's not much you can do to get my nose out of joint. See, I know life is short. I've lost friends, a sister to lupus, my uncle and my mother to cancer, and it was hard, and I was depressed, but when I came out of it, I learned that living my life to the fullest was the answer. So when you see me and tell me how lucky I am, I might give you that strange look, look at you, because you don't really know about all the things that I've been through. But if you had the pleasure to pass through my life, even when you saw me at times of grief and strife, be happy you were here, because right now it's a glorious place to be, because I may be 45, but I feel like 20. Hello. This next piece is called Lactose Intolerant. Lately, I've been meeting sisters who are telling me that they are lactose intolerant, tired of the black man. Asked me to try and understand because they had trials and tribulations and it's causing frustration, so now they are lactose intolerant. I don't get it, see? I love my brothers. No matter what negative situations and relationships I have been in have nothing to do with the entire race of black men. As a matter of fact, I've been challenged many times because I've never dated outside of my race, and for the past many years I've been single, hardly even had a date because the brothers in Toronto just don't really speak. But I still love them. I still love them. I mean, am I a fool for not looking around and standing my ground and thinking and believing that true love can be found from an African Canadian, African American, African Caribbean, or just a pure African brother, a black man? You see, to me it's not hard to understand. From the time I learned about who I really am and the great pyramids of Egypt that were made out of the sand. Okay, so it wasn't sand, it was limestone, but that didn't fit in with the rhyme, so let's leave that alone. And the philosopher, kings and queens, I have just loved who I am and where I've been, and I will never be lactose intolerant. See, I'm not going to turn to soy. In fact, I will be lactose tolerant and tolerate all of the brothers, because I can't understand how someone can deny a part of themselves. They must have left that history book back on the shelf and that explained that before the middle passage, we took on the journeys of the rites of passage. Ashe, ashe. So please don't have that conversation with me about disliking someone who might be male but with the same skin color as me, because I will tell you to go home and look in the mirror and tell me what you see. What has happened to your own sense of identity? And I love all people, all colors, all races, all hues. If we don't learn about each other, then everyone will lose. But when it comes down to who I want as a life partner, no diggity, no doubt. It has to be a brother. And so, though I'm still single for years and I still say hello to brothers who give me that blank stare, I just want y'all to know that my brother, I still really care. And I have not given up on you. I am not, have not been, nor will I ever be the sister who has become so angry that I have become lactose intolerant. This last piece is a brand new piece. And let me just say happy birthday to Deanie Sparks, who came up here from Nova Scotia, bought her ticket. Happy birthday wherever you are. It's called I'm a Black Woman. Woman, 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 woman. way, not afraid of what I do or say. Black woman, a vital voice in society, proud of my African history. Know that it's my destiny to be steeped in positivity. When you look at me, you can't see my trials because I'm versatile. I'm the black woman. See, I've got this rich melanin that's deeply ingrained inside my skin, and though you may try, you just can't win. Black woman, I will love my man like he's a king and give to him my everything. I'm a black woman. Won't be a media statistic or stereotype. Won't yell to be heard or have sister fights. I'm a black woman. I will never settle for less. I've survived slavery in the Middle Passage test. I'm a black